Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Building Your Business right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. Happy New Year. I'm Sarah Troy, and my guest is Sue Schultz. We have some wonderful things to talk about you today. It's about guiding you to your purpose and passion in 2022. And I think we all need to step a lot more into our passion and discover what our purpose is, because ultimately that's what we're here to do. She says the common thread throughout her career has been mentorship. She has always made a point to mentor recruits and employees in whatever role they have held. Inspiring integration is where her passion is. For mentoring people meets her purpose for helping everyone find their field and their dream jobs. She works with women with the ages between 40 and 60 who are longing to take that next step in their career. And you know, right now we are looking at a new year, new opportunities. People are still pivoting. There's still restrictions in place. People are still kind of going, oh, there's a little tap on my shoulder that maybe I need to do something different in my business or go into a different business. Am I too old because I'm 50 or 60? Can I change this direction? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. It's not over until it's over. And if you still got something to give and something to participate, give it, right? Welcome, Susan.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And of course, we're so color coordinated here today. Purely by accident, we did not send out a memo.
It's just going to be a fun interview.
We're in sync and we're in the pink.
Yep.
Passion. Oh, passion and purpose, the two P's that we all look for in life, right? And is that we live our life full of expectation, and then with women, motherhood, and raising children. And then it gets to that stage where either you've been in business or you want to go out in your own business. And it's still that big question mark. I don't know how, or am I worthy? Can I do it? And all of those things going through. But if they tapped into what their passion is, they can make it purposeful, can't they?
Yes, they can. It starts with them, though.
Yes.
It starts within us. And looking at those stories that we keep telling ourselves, like you said, I'm not worthy, or I can't do it, or they said I could only go this far, I'm not smart enough. It's looking at those stories first and reprogramming them sort of into we can do it, and then changing their narrative so that they can have passion and purpose both in career and in life. Because for me, my belief is that it takes you, career, and life. Otherwise, success doesn't really exist. You might think it does, but it doesn't exist until you have all three.
100% agree with you. And, you know, whatever business you go into, you are the business.
That's right.
If they don't buy you, why would they buy anything from you? And if it hasn't got a purpose or a passion behind it, well, where's the invitation?
That's right. Or if you don't believe it yourself, I'm worthy of charging this much money. Who's going to buy? Because they're going to tell that you can't, you don't even believe it. So
right.
It's really, that's why it has to start there. It has to start with you.
Yes. Everything starts with us. And anything we do in life, any interaction we have, anything that happens to us is for us. It's a form of growth. It's a form of learning, of self-discovery. And how many people do we hear in a job? Well, I'm good at it. Yes. But do you like it? Well, no, I'm just good at it. You know, is that good enough? No. If there isn't, every morning getting up, oh, I really love what I do and I can't wait to do it. If that's not there, you're on the wrong path.
That's right. If you're waiting for Friday to come,
yes,
every day of the week, and then you're dreading Monday on Sunday, or even Saturday dreading Monday, you're not in the right place. You're in the wrong place, and you get to look at that and move. Most people are afraid to move because they're tied to their dollars, right?
Yes.
What they don't realize is there's a way to go into what they want passionately and purposefully and still have what they want. It may look a little different than what they ultimately think it should. And right now they're probably not happy because they're still probably living check to check or whatever that looks like.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that life expectation that's being put upon us. You should, you must achieve this by this and the label of that and blah, 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 blah. And you're only successful if you have done this and that, and earned so many dollars, got so many followers, you know, got so many clients and this and that. And it's like, that's a rat race.
Yeah.
Right? You're asking people to be a part of a rat race.
That's right. Yeah. So once they figure out the U piece, it's so easy to navigate where they want to go and how to get there. I think most people who are starting a business, if we're talking about starting a business, those people that don't succeed are not succeeding because they don't know who they are.
Right.
And they don't understand, they're not filling their emotional bank. So they don't have the capacity to do what's needed for that company. Once they can go back and look at that, they can succeed because they'll have that capacity and they'll understand who they are, what those stories are, and what kind of tools they need to avoid them and drive their own car instead of letting those stories drive their car.
Right. I think if you can find something that's meaningful and purposeful, you're passionate about, and you would do it for free, you know, then you know you're on the right track. And you know, you don't know you're not going to do it for free, you are going to charge. But if you would do it for free because it means that much to you, then you know you're in the right driver's seat. But so many people, as you say, the dollar sign, it's like, yeah, but I can't afford to do that. Or it costs money to set something up. Or I don't know, you know, I'm secure here. Do I want to go and change careers? And am I too old for that? And all the yes, buts. I say, sit on your butt. Right? That's what it's there for.
Sit back for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Yeah, exactly. And good old mirror talk is very good because it's very hard to lie to yourself. But how do you help people in that state of mind? You know that they want to move forward. They come to you because they want to move forward, but they're still stuck in, you know, the hook is still in them. Yes, but.
Well, we first look at, I have them write an I am story. I am go back all the way as far as they can remember. And then we look at where did they start? Where did the story start? How long have they been carrying them? And do they want to continue to carry them for the rest of their life? I mean, I believe that we're given a new canvas every day. And for years, they've been painting over the same canvas and it's ugly because it doesn't matter if you put this color pink on it anymore, it's black, right?
Yes.
And so do you want that, or do you want to have a little freedom and paint that beautiful pink picture or whatever it's going to look like, right? Yes, there's going to be some darker colors because every day we have things that happen to us, but it's first looking at where they come from, giving them tools and helping them to figure out how to become intimate with those barriers and those stories, because they're never going away because they've been here since we were like 6 or 7 years old. So they're not leaving. We wrote that story. We take authorship of that story, right? We take that story and we wrote it. Now we own it. And then we get to decide what pieces are we going to take in the next chapters and how we're going to write the next chapters so that they are full of passion and purpose. And if we want to make money and have a great business, they're full of all of that because we're not telling ourselves that we can't.
Right. That verbiage is very, very important. Now, you know, you're not just having sprouted up and doing this. You've been in the business for 30 years and you literally kind of worked your way up it. You were willing to learn, willing to pivot. You know, if I want to get there, I've got to go and try this. And I think one of the things that we do as human beings, and especially as women, we sell ourselves short. We think that, okay, I don't have a degree in this, or I don't have that in that, or I don't have that in that, so therefore I can't. But we have no idea what we can do until we try. And we can really surprise ourselves, can't we?
That's right. And there are jobs, I mean, I was in HR, and you can get an HR job without a bachelor's degree. You have to figure out how to start and how to learn and then build yourself up to where you want to go. We don't have to be the VP today.
Right.
We don't have the skills. We build out goals to get there and what we need to learn to get there. But and life is going to happen. Life's going to bring us curveballs and we get to look at them and shift. But when my belief is that when we know where we're driving to, if it's a VP role you want and you know you're driving there, even though you had a shift, you'll get back there. You will actually, the door will open for you to get back on track and get there. It's just knowing when that is and standing for where you want to go and who you want to be during it, and not forgetting and getting stuck by saying, okay, I'm stuck here. I'm never going to get to that dream. But that's not true. That's not true. And it happened to me.
Right. I mean, but you've also got transferable skills.
Yes.
Right now, I know from reading your bio, you started off in one area and, you've pivoted and you've turned and you've grown and you've allowed.
Yep.
You've allowed. And I think if you dictate, well, I want to be there. Okay, that might be some aim that you think you want. But I think ask yourself the question of why. Why do you want to go there? Why do you want to go there? Because if you could answer that why, but it pays more money, or I have more power, or I'm in a better position. It's the wrong why, isn't it?
Yep. What is your why for everything?
Yes.
And then if it doesn't align with it, don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it if it doesn't align with it.
Now you've had.
Go ahead.
Well, you've had your redirection, right? Oh. And the thing is about redirections, you're not starting all over again. You're taking all the experience and the knowledge that you've already accumulated and applying it to something new.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of people are like, I can't make enough money because I'm going to have to start over. Well, you don't. You have 10 years of experience, 10 years of things that will fall into the job description that you're looking for. Right. You're going to. And so maybe you have 60%, you don't have it all, and then we have to sell 20% of it because there's an 80-20 rule, and we'll sell it. And you can actually pivot and get that job. Yes. You have to believe it. You can't go into that interview and in your head go, oh, they're never going to hire me. Right. Because they're not going to hire you then. They're just not, because they can see it. You're showing up exactly like that.
Right. Yeah. I've always got, first impressions. So I think 55% is your body reaction. How comfortable are you, with your essence, with who you are? Because that's the snapshot. Oh, they're comfortable in their own skin, right? You don't want to see in the Armani suit and you look like it's just ill-fitting, so to speak. 38% is the tone of voice, which will be invitational to how they're going to listen to you. And then 7% is only the content. So you've got to set your own stage on how people are going to receive you. Yep.
One of my very first, I had a recruiting business many years ago in my 20s and 30s. And one of my recruiters that I hired was a waitress. She never did recruiting, but she enrolled me when I was speaking to her about the position, and I brought her on. I trained her. She learned all of it.
Yes.
And she was excellent, one of the best recruiters. So people can get positions that they've never been in before. It's about the enrollment game, and it's about speaking the same language as the person that you're speaking to.
Right.
If you know they're analytical, then come at them with data.
Yes.
Come at them with everything they could ever want with numbers, and you will enroll them. It doesn't matter what you have anymore. They're like, oh, they get me.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And you will have a better chance than if you speak to them from, an analytical person, from a promoter, like, rah, rah.
Yeah, exactly.
They're never going to look at you.
No.
Like, they're going to be like, oh, God, I can't work with that person every day.
I'm a true colors coach. So it's, it's all about those different perspectives. And, when we listen to that other person's perspective and we look at, all four of them, we're now actually getting the whole picture.
That's right.
So if you are going in for an interview, or even if you're going in to pitch your business to the bank for a loan, whatever you're doing, do a little research on whom you're speaking to. Now, of course, if you're going into the bank, they're all about numbers. So don't go, well, I'm going to be making $1 million in 5 years. No, they want to know, have you done your due diligence? Where are the numbers? What are your projections? Right. Yeah. But then there are others that, for me, I taught myself into every job. Yep. I was the first woman mobile oil hired in South Africa. I had no idea about oil. Still don't know anything about oil, but I knew about customer service. Right. And so ultimately is, where is your strength? How does it fit in? And how can it benefit? And, and that's what you're bringing to the table. That's what you're selling. And your personality, your enthusiasm, and your willingness to learn.
Yep. I mean, my first job out of college was a recruiter. And he didn't want to hire me. And I wanted the job.
Right.
And so I said that, he said, well, you have no experience. You're just out of college. I go, look, I worked full time, went to school full time. I may not have experience, but I work really hard. So here's what I'll do for you. For the first 6 months, I'll work straight commission. And if I do not make any money, I will leave. And he hired me.
Right. It was
what does he got to lose? Nothing.
Yes, exactly.
No risk. Hire me. And I was there 6 years. So, I mean, you have to sell yourself. You can't be afraid to sell yourself.
No. And I think, a lot of people make a mistake by being the specialist. And, really what people are looking for today is, it's great if you could specialize in something, but are you also a generalist? Can you do other things?
Yep.
Because they may not be able to accommodate you on your speciality all the time. And they want to know you're flexible enough to pick something else up and do something else. So, a lot of people who are, being house mums, and they're going, I've just raised children for the last 20 years. What do I know? Well, let's look at it. You've kept the books. You've been
organized.
Yeah, exactly. How many skills have you had in being a mother? And you'd look at all of those skills and all of that management, and you'd say, "Are your kids alive?" Well, then clearly you've done something right.
Yep, that's right. That's right. And so when they're matching it and putting a resume together, they have all the key words. They just don't. They look at it differently, and I'm like, you call it all the same things. You do the bookkeeping in the house. You do you answer all the calls, you organize, you have everybody trained.
Yes.
You have all of these skills. We're just going to use the terminology that they want in what you've done as a mom.
Right.
And so you get to go to the workforce, not thinking you only can be a waitress, or you can only be this. You get to be a waitress if that's what you want to be. And you get to be an HR generalist if that's what you want to be. You just have to know how to sell it.
And it goes back to that why.
Why, if it doesn't fit your why, then don't do it. That's what I tell everybody. Yeah. What's your why for doing everything? And if it doesn't align, then don't do it. Find something else.
You're just going to be redirecting. So, why bother? Right.
Yeah. In 2 years, you're going to be looking for another job.
Exactly.
Because you're not looking for it the right way.
Right. And, the thing is, whether you're an entrepreneur building your own business, or whether you are building yourself as a business to join a business.
Yep.
Right. It's all kind of the same mentality, just maybe different hats. Right.
That's right.
So you've still got to bring some of the business acronym to the business, and that, your forte, your strength. And I think what we're seeing a great deal more of today is not so much ageism. And so, as you said, you work with people even in their 60s. And there are so many people that have had careers, maybe they've retired from it, and now they want to pivot. I don't want to retire. What am I going to do? I want to do something I'm passionate about now. But, I don't know. I don't maybe want to have the same kind of hours or the same kind of pressure. I want to do something I enjoy doing. And the doors are open for them, right? Because there's so much more opportunity now for people of age than there ever has been.
Yeah. And people who lose their jobs or lost them because of even COVID, let's say.
Yes.
And they're older, they're in their 50s or 60 years old. and they think and their jobs were eliminated. Like there are a lot of positions out there that were there that are no longer there. And now they have to look at themselves and say, what can I do? But what they don't realize, reinventing can be fun.
Yes.
You have so much stuff to offer that probably more than they need for whatever they want to reinvent. And I find that a lot of people that's happened to many people. And when they realize they get to now look at what they want.
Yes.
It's an amazing feeling for them. Like I always say, well, it was a gift. They gave you a gift because now for the next 10 years until you retire, you get to do something you've always wanted to do instead of just going to work every day to get the paycheck.
Yeah.
You get to do something you want. And that's a big gift.
Huge. I started this at 57. Now 2022 will be my 10th year. So I'm 67, obviously. When I first was asked to join a network, would you come and have your own podcast on my network? And I go, what's a podcast? I had no idea, I've got to do it through the computer. The first show was Monty Python's Skit. I pressed all the wrong buttons, right? Yeah. And it was live for, the first 13 months. And then I went off on my own network and don't do live anymore. Learned. Yeah. But it was such a good training ground. And I went into it and I thought, I like this, and then frustrated. Is it working? This and that. And I stayed with it. It is the best job I've ever had in my world. Other than raising my children, it's the best job I've ever had in my life. And it really has had me step into my meaningful purpose, my calling. And yep. I will do this for as long as I can. The oldest person I've interviewed who still has her own TV show is 89. So, yep. It's don't put the limit on yourself. You don't know what you can do until you try.
That's correct. I mean, I've always wanted to do what I'm doing today, but again, life took me a different path. And when the door reopened, I went into it. And I was in my 50s. I'm 60 now. And, but it's passion, it's purpose. Yes. I would never trade it for anything. No. And yes, I do best when they throw me in a fire. Like people will say, you have to do YouTube videos and you have to do videos and live videos and all these things. And I'm like, really? Like, really? You want me? And then you get used to it and you're like, oh, I don't really mind. And speaking in front of women, all of that, whatever I need to do and my team says you get to do, they need you over here, I'm going.
Right.
Whereas in the beginning, you're just like, I've never done that before.
Right.
Like, they're like, go do interviews on podcasts. I've never done that before.
Right.
Like, well, go out and do it. I'm like, okay, I will do it.
Right. And that's be prepared to do it. And I remember the first 5 years I only did audio. And then I was doing some joint shows. I had somebody channeling ascensions and she was recording with me. And she said, Sarah, let's do video. The first thought that came into my head, in fact, the first words out of my mouth, who wants to see this old bag on video? And then the back of my head, another voice came in, kind of slapping me upside of the head and saying, it's not about the way you look, it's about the content.
That's right.
And if people are bothered by your looks, then obviously they're not ready for the content.
I learned that too, because there's some days that I'm doing a video and I look at myself and I say, oh, you look awful. Like,
what, I'm going to put makeup on?
You need to go put makeup up and fix yourself. And what I learned is they don't care.
No.
They're really looking at the content of what you have to offer and what you have to say and how they can apply it and how you can help them. They don't really care. You have no lipstick on. Right. Your hair is a mess that day. You look a mess. I just go on now as is. I mean, most of the time I fix myself, but if I don't have it, then I'm out there just like them.
Right, exactly.
No different than anyone else.
It's a lot about just the good vibrations. How do you make them feel? Yeah. Right? There's one of the shows I remember of, I don't know if you've ever watched America's Got Talent. She was on 2017, Keshi, the burn victim, who went all the way up to the end and then also came back for the champion show. She was a singer. And I had interviewed her the year before, and 65% of her body burned from a plane crash. And she was such an inspiration, just her sheer attitude on life. And then I put the TV on one day and there she is. And I know the initial shock from everybody, because she's definitely disfigured, was to see the disfigurement. And then she told her story and she sang. And her singing saved her life.
Yeah.
You could hear it in her song, and everybody fell in love with her. Nobody could see, the scars anymore. And I've had the honor of interviewing her 3 times. And it's like, once we get over the initial judgment and we truly are willing to open up and hear, then we are really blown away by the heart and the soul of a person and what they're sharing.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. If we can get past this.
Yes. Yes.
Which we all have a hard time doing sometimes. But we get to meet people exactly where they are. And then even for us, for you and I, our passion, our joy, our purpose is doubled.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. And, I think a lot of people get intimidated because, social media, no, you've got to do it like this. No, you've got to do it like that. You've got to do it like this. And it's like, it's too overwhelming. I don't know how to do it. I wouldn't know who to get to help me. I just wear all the hats. I do everything myself. And it can be very intimidating for some people. And so they don't do it because they feel overwhelmed by but you've got to do it this way. And I assume that you work with people with what they have to give and how to make that the best thing that they can share. Rather than you've got to do it like so-and-so, because I think comparison and competitiveness with one another is a killer, is a creative killer.
Everyone's on their own journey, and they all are going to a different place. And so for some people, their journey will take 6 months. For other people, it'll take 2 years. But that journey it's important. They follow it, and they look at each little thing. If they're finding out about themselves and their stories, and they're not able to move as quickly as other people, then just follow it until you get it, till the aha moment happens. Then you can build your career and your life out, because that stuff is easy to fill out when you know who you are and who you are going to be and who you're standing for and what you're going to allow and what you're not going to allow. Right, for yourself.
Big ones.
And you're going to write a different story. And when you're able to do that, 10 years from now, I can be that. I can actually be that, and I can back out goals to get there. And your life the same way. And career is, I tell everybody, career is part of the 3 pieces, but it's not the most important piece, because it will leave. It leaves someday, and what you have left is life and yourself. And so those to me are the biggest pieces. Yes, career is a piece of it, but it isn't the most important piece of it when you're aligning all 3. And so people, women especially, when they get that, they realize if they go into their passion, it'll carry through everywhere. And if they find purpose where they're at and they love going, it'll filter into their life with their children and their spouse or whoever's in their life, and it'll filter into them. And so once they get that, then I feel like it doesn't matter what you're doing in career or life, you are successful. Because you figured out how to align it all. Right.
And as I said, it's no longer a job.
No.
It's a calling. It's that purpose. It's something that that you have to do because it just feels so good, right? And no, you may retire from the job part of it, but you still want to be a part of it because it's a wonderful reason to get up every morning.
That's correct.
Those 3 things about you have melded into one.
That's correct. And you can do things, anything you want. You might volunteer, you might do other things, but it won't be it's not going to be something that follows you into your 90s, but your life will, and your career, and you will. So once you figure that out, that's success. Because most people come to me and they're just like, success is my career. I have to be this. I have to make this much money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, when we're done, we'll see if you have the same opinion. And they don't. They don't have that opinion anymore. And they've also realized that the things that they have, that they're paying money for,
right,
that they're making that money to get, they don't need.
no,
Because when you have the passion and the purpose in what you're doing, all those things mean nothing.
exactly.
And then they get to see that, oh, I don't really have to make six figures
Right.
to be happy.
And
I
how
can
many,
still have a house and eat and all that stuff.
and how many people do you know who are in the six figures that actually have the time to enjoy it? Because they become pretty well the slave to maintaining that six-figure income. I've interviewed numerous of them.
I did that in corporate. I tell this story all the time. I worked so many hours. My kids were older, but I worked so many hours, and I lived in an apartment about 10 minutes from my work. And it actually is close to here where my house is. And I look at it when I pass it, I don't remember living there.
Right.
And I say to my daughter, she lived with me there in her 20s. And I say to her all the time, I don't remember living there. And she's like,
you didn't.
Because you didn't live there. You came home, you slept, you changed in the morning, and you went to work.
Right.
Because of your life for a few years. And I'm like, well, never again, not doing it.
Learn from me, don't do.
Yeah, that money meant nothing because I never got to enjoy that, right?
Yeah, I mean, numerous people I've interviewed where they either lost their health, lost their family, right? And then realized I've got this huge, big, $1 million house, this big mansion with these fast cars. I never have, I just drive it from work to home, work to home. I don't get to enjoy the home. I've lost my connection with my family altogether. And there was one guy that literally, he got very sick, which was his cosmic 2x4 to change his life. His wife divorced him, and he went out and did the work on himself, and he changed his life altogether and got into something he really, truly enjoyed doing, wooed his wife again, and they remarried and just got a nice, beautiful, simple, humble home where they really are happy because they're living not in this rat race, because it can be a rat race. They're living in, earning enough to enjoy life and be secure, but have the time to do it. Because what is the one thing we all have? Doesn't matter rich or poor. Time. We all have 24 hours in a day. How we use it is really going to reflect on everything in life.
That's correct. It's not, you can have a 6-figure job and 6 weeks vacation in your package. Yeah. If you never get to use the 6 weeks vacation, what is the purpose? You got this title, yay, right?
Yes.
And you don't even want to go to work.
No.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're just waiting for Friday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And Monday you dread. So what is your why for that? Right? That's what I would say. What is your why? I've been there. I get it.
Now, so many people are working from home now because the pandemic has done that, and they don't want to go back. My son-in-law, works for the city, and when they did go back, he only went back 2 days a week, and now they want him back full time. And they're actually, everybody there is negotiating that they do want to work from home. And he has a new baby at home, an 8-month-old, and he wants to kind of have his coffee break, his tea break, and whatever, with the baby, or if he needs to step up and help, his wife, my daughter, he can do, and he can still work, and because he's very, due diligent. And, really, I think a lot of employees are realizing now, not everybody has to go to the office, and that if you want to work from home, you can do. And that there are plenty of jobs like that open. And it's just that, there's a lot of kind of changes within the infrastructure of employee and employers nowadays, isn't there?
Which is another gift we got from COVID.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I know we got some terrible things, but we got a lot of gifts.
That was the reason for it. It was to shake us up, wake us up, for us to step up and change it up. Right.
People are realizing they don't want to work in the office all day long. They want to be home. They want to have time with their family. They want to be at all the sports games.
Yes.
Practices.
And then an hour commute each way in the traffic, right?
Right, because then they lose that time that they get with their family, and they don't want that.
Right.
So they want, but they're willing to negotiate, like your son-in-law. I'll work 2 days in the office, but I want the rest here, or
Yeah.
whatever that looks like. And people are starting to see the value of family.
Yeah.
And it's not about going to the amusement parks and all that. It's really about time together, because we could only go to the forest preserves and hike and
Yes.
and so we learned, or we could fish or whatever. We learned how to be different, like we were years ago, right? So I look at it as a gift all the time. And when someone says to me, I lost my job because of COVID, I'm like, okay, what was the job? Did you love the job? Did you want to be there? And they usually say no. And I'm like, well, then they gave you a gift.
Yes. You wouldn't have gone on your own.
You would never have left.
No.
And now what are you going to do with your gift?
What opportunity lies before you?
Yep. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to squander it? What are you going to do? Are you going to open the doors and do something really exciting for yourself or different, so that you can go to work and be happy, whatever that is?
And there are so many ways of learning new skills, online programs. Maybe you want to go back to college. I mean, how many people are we seeing in their 40s and 50s who've gone back to university, know? And if that's important to you, or if that's something you need to have in order to do what you really want to do. I remember way back in the 70s, a young man I knew that he worked for IBM, and he made a lot of money because, this is the beginning of the computers, especially kind of the personal computers, not just, the city block computer. And he made enough money to put himself through medical school. But he went to medical school at 36. And everybody goes, why, are you mad? You've got 7 years of medical school. You're going to be in your 40s and this and that. He said, this is what I've always wanted to do. Now I can afford to do it. And again, we're the ones that go and put that age that, oh no, you've got to be this by that time and that by that time. Put that out, throw that away. Just throw that away in the trash, right?
Age has nothing to do with anything. When people say to me, I can't find a job, I've been looking for a year, and I know it's because I'm 55. And I'm like, well, that's a story you're telling yourself, because that's not true. It's absolutely not true. You're looking at the wrong in the wrong way.
Or the wrong jobs. Yeah. There's many companies that actually want the maturer people because they know they're more reliable. They know that they're going to really give their all. They also know that they're going to be a good example to the younger people there.
That's right. Who are also having difficulty during all this time. Yes.
I mean, out of, chaos and turbulence comes clarity. And, I have a show on this week, about the 2022 codes, which is the predictions of exactly what is going to be going on. And we're going to still see a lot more kind of turbulence and storms and changes. And that is because we've been invited to step up and change. And we know that we need to bring more compassion in our communication, in our listening skills, in the way that we employ. This wonderful gentleman I interviewed out of Germany under my Let's Get Sync series, and his business is pure necessity, and it's about investing in people and planet for profit. Now, we've seen the profit at the expense of people and planet, and we know, hey, the planet's in trouble, the people are depleted, and the only people that have got the profit are those in the ivory towers. And so we know that there's a shift now, and that's another gift that COVID gave us. It shed the light on the people that we're dependent on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And gave them more value, gave them, more respect and more gratitude. And so, oh, I'm only a janitor. Hey, if you walk into a business building and it's dirty, immediately your mind thinks, oh gosh, do I want to do business with these people? Look how dirty it is. The janitor has set the stage for you. That janitor is important.
It's very important. And actually, that's the thing. People have to realize if that's their purpose and they love doing it, because someone has to do it.
Yes.
If you love doing it, stand up and say, I am the janitor.
Be proud. Be proud.
That's correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Because someone gets to be that job. There are jobs out there for all of us. And we're not all, I can't be a janitor. I know I would hate it.
Yes.
But someone else who loves it should stand up and say, I love what I do.
Right. And that's the thing. For anything, whoever you are, wherever you're from, If you can't say, I love what I do, then you're in the wrong field.
That's right. I met someone where I get my hair done, and she, during COVID, needed to find more work, right? Because nobody was doing hair. And
right.
She is doing hair for, she's doing the hair and the nails for dead people.
Right. Yes.
And she loves it.
Yes.
She said,
no
she talks about it with such passion. And I'm like, ugh. You know,
I know. But that's the thing, that there's always somebody for some role in life. And it's not for, oh God, I can't have it. No, we couldn't do it. But for them, as you said, that dignity of sending someone off.
Beautiful.
Yes, exactly. What dignity, what respect.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
And the thing is that we all have an aptitude for something.
That's right.
Right. We've all got a particular mindset for something. And if we can go, look at the people that do the autopsies and everything else, or even the paramedics and what they go through. And it's, we look at it and you think, oh my God, what they see every day. And of course, what the nurses and doctors and all of the hospital staff have seen in this pandemic area, and the death rate is still going on every day, more and more deaths. And it's like, we've become almost blasé to it right now. They're so burnt out. They have such traumatic stress, and it takes so long to train other nurses that now we have a nurses and doctor shortage.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, it takes a lot. And I think if we could shed the importance away from the ivory towers, as I call them.
Correct.
That the CEOs and, the Amazon owners, the be all and end all, and I want to be like them. It's like, I don't care if you're rich. How are you going to seed opportunities for other people? How are you going to give back in gratitude to all those that help you got there? How are you going to pay it forward? Because you don't need trillions.
You don't. You don't even need six figures.
No.
To be honest. So I always say, when they come to me, they go, I want to make six figures. And I'm like, why?
Right.
Tell me why, and how is six figures going to be different for you than 80,000? What's the difference of that 20,000 for you in your passion and purpose? And when you tell me that, then we'll go after the 100, if that's really where you have to be. But if it, most of the time they'll come back and they'll go, oh, I really thought about it.
Right. Right.
Like,
where's
to
the balance?
do exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You just think six figures sounds so important.
Oh, and I get pitched, and you must do all the time. I get pitched all the time. Do you want to make six figures? Do you want to do this? Do you want to be at the top of your game? And it's like, I'm in the game because I love it. I love doing what I'm doing. I feel totally enriched and abundant. Does my bank balance match that? I'm not right now, but my God, I feel so enriched and abundant from what I'm doing, and it gives me a reason to get up every single day to do what I'm doing. So we did a gratitude circle at my son's restaurant for Thanksgiving, and everybody went around saying what they were grateful for. And we were in tears at the end, because so many of them have walked away from other restaurants where they can make more money to work at my son's restaurant because they felt more community. They felt they were more heard, and they felt they were more a part of something that was being built. And, I said at the end there, the true enrichment, abundance of life has got nothing to do with money.
It doesn't.
It's a tool that helps you achieve things, but do not go after the dollar sign. It will always let you down.
I never look at the dollar sign in my business. Like, when I speak to people, I'm not thinking about the dollar sign. Yes, there's a dollar sign there. They're going to pay for my services, but they're not, I don't go at it that way.
Right.
Money comes. It's really about touching them from your heart.
Yes.
And that's, the money will follow. It all follows. Your abundance follows when you are doing your, whatever your passion is, in a way that serves others.
Yes. I'm a huge fan of the talent shows, like The Voice and America's Got Talent, things like this. And, you'll see somebody sing, and they're singing technically perfectly. And then somebody else comes out and sings emotionally. And you're just, oh,
that's great.
Oh, who are you going to vote for?
That's right.
The person that's moved you.
Yep, the one that enrolled you in it all.
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
And I tell people this word enroll should be written all over your face. You enroll your kids, you enroll your significant others, you enroll your coworkers, your boss every day. You get good at enrollment. And that's where you'll find fun in all that you do. Because
I mean, I know when I started off doing this, my kids just thought it was a little hobby. And, Mom, why don't you do it like this? Why don't you do it like that? And I think you should do this. And I think you should do that. And I go, And, I have a niche. I have a technique. I have a style. That's Sarah. I don't want to be Rachel Meadows. I don't want to be Oprah. I don't want to be anyone else. I'm Sarah. All right. And Sarah's good enough for certain people. And if it isn't, go to everyone else. Right. That's perfect. I'm not going to be offended. Right. And now, my son is saying, when are you going to interview me? Right. Because now there's his own staff is saying, I listen to your mum shows, and it's like suddenly I'm no longer mum. I'm somebody else who's doing something that is making a difference. And I think, your kids may push against you if you are wanting to change directions in your life, because they only see you as mother, right? Or the husband sees you as wife, or your mother and father see you as daughter. And it's like, well, do you really think you should do that? Do you think you can do that? And it's like, put away the external chatter. Right. And only listen to the people that are going to guide you forward. When you start gathering momentum and they see a difference in you and how exuberant you feel in life and how purposeful you feel in life, it's like, wow, it really agrees with you. What is it you're doing?
That's right. You look so happy.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's only because you're doing something you love and you're doing it your way. Yes. You're standing for who you want to be in the whole process. My kids do the same thing. You should do this.
You always know better, right?
What if you do this? And I go, well, those are all great ideas.
Yes.
And I may do those someday, but today this is how I'm doing it, because this is how I want to go on my journey.
Yeah.
And then it will grow to be what it's supposed to be.
Right. And don't get bothered if people don't get it. Right. My sister has no understanding what it is I really do. Yet she knows I'm making a difference, so therefore she's proud of me. So they don't have to get it. If you change directions and gone completely the other way, and it's like, what are you doing? And they've got all the what ifs and the buts and the buts and the buts. It is like, it's okay. It's okay. They're just doing it out of concern. Oh, in some cases, jealousy, but just go and do what you need to do for you. Because you are going to serve more people being you than you are being trying to be anyone else. Everyone else is taken, right?
They'll understand you at some point.
Yes.
When they're ready.
Yes. And you can be that inspiration for them, right?
That's right. I feel like I'm always the one that's out here. I do all the things that no one else does.
Yeah, me too.
Right? They have their 9-to-5 jobs and they make good money, and they're corporate. They make a lot of money. And I just do everything different. I've always been different.
Me too. And I've gone down some roads that, have literally had me living out of my car, and it's okay, no, I don't want to repeat that experience. Thank you. But I've had it. And, I learned from it, and it humbled me, and it showed me some different things in life. I think I don't like the word failure. I think failure is when you give up and do nothing.
Failure is another gift.
It is. I call it lessons learned. It's redirects. That's all. It didn't work because it wasn't meant to work in that capacity. But what did you learn from it that you can take forward?
And what part did you play?
Right.
In that failure?
Right.
Because most of the time we don't look at it.
No.
We can get a divorce and we say it's the other person.
Right.
But until we look at what our part was, it's going to be difficult to move forward into a new relationship or into a new role. Or if you lost your job, what was your part in it? You didn't just lose the job because they restructured. If you were doing exactly what they needed,
they would have found a way to keep you.
They would have found a way to keep you. So what was that? And what part did you play so that you can take that with you in the next journey? So people don't stop to think about what their part is.
Right.
They just start blaming everyone else.
Mm-hmm. One finger pointing there, there's three pointing back at you.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You know, the other thing I think, huge word that we need to bring into the equation is attitude.
That's right. Attitude is big.
Nobody owes you anything, right?
No. I work in COVID. My 40 to 60 has turned into like 25 to 60.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the young kids are having difficulty, but a lot of that is attitude.
Right.
I deserve to be the VP and I'm 30. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
And what makes you qualified for that?
Mm.
And and the things they come up with, okay, maybe, but no, absolutely. You're just not, but you can have that if you plan it and you figure out how you're going to get there.
Right.
You can be there, but not today. It's not your role today.
I mean, every chapter in your book is there for a reason.
That's
you don't want to jump to the end, because then what?
Yeah, right. Right. Yep. I want that CMO job today. And I'm like, okay, but you don't have this, and this. And do you see what the job is asking for? How are you going to get that?
And really, when you get into that position, what are you going to do when somebody looks to you for your expertise? Where did you get the experience? Where did you get the expertise?
And they're like, oh, you can have it.
Yes.
5 to 10 years from now.
Right.
When you do these things.
You might do it in 5 years instead of the 10 years. That is your participation. Yeah. That is your, integration with it. But do not think that you can just download an app and suddenly be.
That's right. I'm like.
And with the youth, we are looking at that in many, many ways. But also what I'm seeing is a hell of a lot of kind of going back to community. They call them the avocado millennials. Like I'd rather go out every Sunday and have avocado toast than try and save up for a mortgage to a house that keeps going up that I can't afford, and putting that stress and burden on myself. And so there is a different sense from many of them today where it is more conscious based about enjoying life and getting the quality out of life rather than becoming a slave to life.
That's correct. Yeah. But they want it today.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I suppose, didn't we?
We might have. Did you think about being a VP?
No, I never thought about being a VP. I didn't want that responsibility.
It was in my, I could think of being that, but I never thought I could do it that day.
Right. No, I mean, you talked about structure beforehand. I was the person that says that I taught myself into every job and then learned as I went. And then, oh God, no, I'm not cut out to be a secretary,
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm good at this. And kind of looking at the thread of what you are good at. And for me, it was the customer service, and it was knowing what people needed in order to serve them, really,
right.
Basically. And I knew that was where my strength was. And so I used that strength to get myself into many jobs. And I didn't know, will I like it? I don't know, not until I try it. I ended up being a disruptor because I had a few occasions where my boss would be fired and I'd be offered their job.
Whoa.
And I wouldn't take the job because that's not what I was there for. I was there to shed light on what was going wrong and what needed to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it was never, ever my intention. It was just something that happened. But it wasn't for me to take their job. I'd never wanted their job. I just wanted them to do their job more comprehensively. Yep. And obviously me having to shed light on their inadequacy.
Yep. Happens all the time.
It does. And the thing is, if that does happen to you, don't take it out on the person that, has shed the light. It's maybe step up and say, you know what? They shed the light on what I was doing wrong. I get that now. Give me a chance to rectify it.
That's right. I agree. You don't have to let them go. But you shed the light and let them decide what they're going to do with it. That's what I used to do as a VP of HR. I would say, hey, they're not stepping up to where you want them to be, but do they know where you want them to be?
Yes.
Or how you want them to get there? How about if you tell them what your expectations are and how you want them to get there or do things, and give them the chance to decide if they want to do it,
Right.
or if they want to leave.
Right.
Because they will leave within like 6 months because they'll realize they can't do it. They'll find another job. But if they want the job and want to stay and they like what they do, they will take that feedback. But a lot of times we don't give people feedback.
No.
We
and
just
then we
let
expect.
them do their, and that we just expect them to get it.
Yes. Yes. I've also think that we've become very much, especially in North America, a disposable society. Oh, it's okay. I'll just get someone else. I'll
That's
just throw that person to the curb. I don't care. There's somebody else. You know, plenty of fish in the sea.
And it's a lot of money to get that other person because of the training.
Right. Exactly. And, or, you know, I think, you know, just, I'm a big investor in people, because when we invest in people, they step up because you show them the belief you have in them. They see the belief they have in themselves, and they want to step up to be those better people with better contribution.
Yep, that's right.
So I think investing in people is where we should be at. Instead, we're very easy to dismiss people and replace them, right? Which I think is something that an exercise that we need to start looking at. It's the same thing when you've got people in certain power. They, you know, you've put them up in power because they're doing that job, but are they doing it at the expense of the people? If you start getting in the corporation or the organization disgruntledness or an unequilibrium going on where people are feeling out of sorts because they're feeling picked on, bullied on, or dictated to rather than invited to, your house of cards is crumbling.
Yeah. Yeah. I always tell people come to me and they go, I never get the promotion. I never get the raise. I never get this. I go in my performance review. I think I'm good. It's not good. And I always ask them, do you know what your KPIs are? What are your key performance indicators that are going to give you that raise or that promotion? What is it? They don't know.
No.
They have no idea. I said, your job now is to walk into your boss's office and say, what are my key performance indicators? What are the things that you're looking at that are going to give me a raise or are going to promote me? Because I clearly don't know what they are because I'm not going there.
Right. Again, expectation. Be clear with the expectation. Right?
And then you can decide, can I meet those expectations?
Yes. Yeah.
Before you step away because they're not giving you a raise or a bonus or whatever that looks like. Why aren't you getting it?
Right.
Is there something you can rectify? And if there's not, then you do get to leave.
Yes.
Like you get to make a decision.
Yep.
But if there is, maybe you want to stay and figure it out.
You know, self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want you to persecute or beat yourself up, but sometimes you've just got to check in with self.
Check within yourself.
You know, do I like this? Am I giving it my all? If I'm not giving my all, is it because I don't like it, or I don't feel appreciated, or I'm not, you know, knowing where to go?
Or I'm giving my all to the wrong things.
Exactly.
You know, right?
Exactly.
There's always something to own.
Yes.
And what is it? And when you own it, you can then figure out how to get where you want to go. It's
right.
Most of the time we're like, my boss is mean.
Yeah.
He never gives me a raise or a bonus. This company sucks.
Yeah.
Whatever they're saying, right? And half the time it's something about us.
Yes. You know, I'm a 70s chick, so I was 20, you know, my 20s and the 70s, and very, very misogynistic time period in life. And I got dismissed from a job where, you know, as an asthmatic, they had me on a 6-month probation. And if I didn't get sick, then they'll give me full time. And everybody got sick with the flu. I got it. So I got bronchial asthma. And my boss didn't care. He liked who I was and what I was doing. But he got promoted and another guy got put in his place. And I had turned him down sexually in the beginning. And he had held that grudge.
That's right.
And he had smirky little face telling me, well, we can't extend your employment. And so I'd actually just booked a deal with a company that had been with Shell, and I turned them over to mobile. I picked up the phone and I said, we can't accommodate you, go back to Shell. And he said, which company was it? And he knew it was a massive chain. And I told him, his face just went down. And I know I shouldn't have, but it was my up yours, mate.
Yep, that's right.
But I mean, I was living in South Africa at the time, and the misogyny over there was just really, really high pitch.
Sure.
And it's more and more with the Me Too movement, we're seeing now bosses who have taken sexual advantage or advances over women, and that no, I'm sorry. Do not abuse your power. Don't abuse that trust. And
That's
yes,
right.
you have to be held accountable for it. What makes you think you can get away with it just because you have that title?
That's right.
So there's a lot we need to learn to stand up for ourselves.
That's right.
For what we want, our why. If we want to stay with the company we're with, but we want to be treated differently, have a better position, so stand up for yourself. But don't come at it from an angst, come at it from an articulation.
That's correct. And an understanding of who you are and why you want it.
Yes. Yes. So what programs do you have for 2022 for women of all ages?
I have so many. So I have two paths right now. I have one where if people they don't have the ability to do coaching, they can take a group coaching boot camp for resumes and how to find a job, because we have those 24 million people here that are unemployed and they cannot, there's only like 11 million jobs out there. So it's teaching them how to speak the language or to speak in the interview so that they have a leg up, so to speak. So that we have that. On the other hand, I do group coaching. I do one-on-one coaching. I have a team that can do coaching also, but if they want to work with me, they can. And I speak at events. I have 4 events for 2022. I know I'm missing something. Oh, no, I have the resume class. So that's it. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And you've got a free giveaway that you have for our audience.
I do?
Oh, you sent it to me, so maybe not.
That was probably Kayla, my assistant. But did she send a free strategy call?
I think so, yes. Get unlocked. Get unlocked.
Yeah.
Unstuck, brother.
Get unstuck. Join the Unstuck Facebook page, because that is going to give you a lot of information. And yes, even if she didn't, connect with me and you can have a free discovery call.
Wonderful. And so what is your website? That discovery call, I think, is very, very important, because then people, I mean, if they've listened to the show, then they've already got a sense of who you are, why you are, and how you can help them. But then that discovery call is like for you to know whether you can help them, right?
That's correct. And to understand where they are and help them see what the discovery call is a get to know you kind of thing, but it also helps them see where their barriers and stories come from and how their life is a mirror image to their career.
Right. Yes, you are.
Yep.
You are what you eat, sleep, and work.
It's an aha moment for a lot of people. So it's only 30-minute call, but it definitely take advantage of it, because I don't really give it to anybody. So it's out there to everybody who wants it.
Excellent.
The website is inspiredintegration.org.
inspiredintegration.org.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And you're on the Facebook as Inspired Integration, so is Instagram, but your LinkedIn is under your name, Sue.
It's under my name because everyone followed me.
Right, exactly, because you inspire them.
I have a marketing team, and everything I do, they follow me.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I have a difference. So yes, it's under my name. You have Instagram and you have Facebook. And then there's some YouTube videos out there. I do live videos every Wednesday on the Unstuck group.
Wonderful. Great. And if you would spell your name for the people who are going to go to LinkedIn, so those are listening, Perfect. They can know the proper spelling.
So it's Sue, S-U-E, and then Schultz, S-C-H-U-L-T-Z, and that's Inspired Integration.
Excellent. Well, I always say inspiration begets invitation, and, become the inspiration you seek. Right. Mm-hmm. And, it's sometimes all we need is somebody that's been there, done that. This is their strength. This is their gift. right?
Yep.
And tap into that gift, because they're going to give you those light bulb moments. They're going to show you the skills and the tools that you need to get there. So you've
Yep.
got all of that there for them, whether they kind of like, I've been working for the same company for 20 years and it sucks. And, I should stay until retirement, but why should I, And
That's
it's,
right.
one of the things that I think people need to understand, your dis-ease with your job can create diseases within your body, mind,
That's
heart, and
correct.
soul.
I totally believe that.
So you need to owe it to yourself about, you know what? I just am not content here anymore. It's not the reason to get out of bed anymore. I've got to look for something else. It doesn't matter how long I've been here or what position I'm in. And if you need that help in renavigating that, then Sue's your person.
Yeah, I'm your person.
And thank you so much for sharing with us today. I mean, it's a wonderful way to start off the new year. There's a lot of people that have gone, you know what, this is the year. This is the year I'm going to change things. And that first step is making that statement. That statement. I want to change things and I'm going to do it. Now, the next question comes in how and who, right?
But
and then,
action is the first thing. Take action somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. And, even if it is investigating how you're going to do it, where you're going to go, not everybody wants to jump from, one to another without knowing where they're going, which is fine. And why they're doing it, right? That why again. And, when you've got someone like you to help navigate for them, where they're going, why they're doing it, why they need to do it, then it actually gives them the fuel they need in their tank to actually put themselves in gear.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize they can get help.
Yes, that's the important thing. And as you said, you normally work with for 40 to 60, but now you've got the 20-year-olds as well, because they need help. COVID has shaken them up as well. And so it doesn't matter what the age demographic, right?
Doesn't matter at all.
Right. We're all in the same boat. We just
We're
might
all in the same boat.
We just might be with different levels.
Yep, and we all want the same thing.
Yes.
So it's just where we are in the journey.
Right. What chapter are you on in your book of life, right? Thank you so much for being with us here today and for sharing.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
It's been an absolute delight. And, your enthusiasm alone, I know that for you, it's important for people to find their right direction and their right connection to what they love, because that's important to you. Never mind what they pay you, but it's important to you because you want to see them succeed.
That's correct.
So when you've got somebody that wants to see the best in you, those are the people to have. So reach out for Sue. So until next time, folks, thanks very much. And remember, it's all up to you. It's within you. It's for you. And everything you're going to do is because of you. So until next time, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. You will hear many, many shows here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. We have new shows for you out every week. Just find them on our podcast or What's New. If you feel that you have something to share that makes a difference in the lives of others, or you too feel that you could be a host, please contact me at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com and we will be glad to speak with you. Have a wonderful day.